It appears that former President Donald Trump has openly embraced the QAnon conspiracy theory. In a recent image on True Social, Trump had posted a picture of himself wearing a Q lapel with the QAnon catchphrase, "The storm is coming," and WWG1WGA, or "Where we go one, where we go all." And he did that on his True Social account earlier this week. He shared the post after an account called Patriots in Control published the photo on the platform. Now, this timing is interesting because he posted this just hours after a QAnon supporter in Michigan tried to murder his family. So now on Sunday, police received a 911 call just after 4 a.m. from a young woman who said that she had just been shot by her father. This is according to the Oakland County Sheriff's Office in a statement. When officers arrived at the scene, they moved towards the home after hearing a gunshot when 53-year-old Igor Lanis came out of the front door armed with a shotgun and began to fire at the police. Police, of course, shot back and fatally shot Lanis. Officers then saw Lanis's 25-year-old daughter, Rachel, attempting to crawl out of the front door before they took her to safety. She was then later hospitalized and thankfully listed in stable condition. Now, Rachel Lanis, who had placed the initial 911 call, told police that her father had shot her mother, and the dog. Jesus Christ. So, obviously, Rachel did survive, but Igor Lanis and his wife Tina, as well as the dog, unfortunately, did not survive. All of them are gone. So, I mean, that right there is a gigantic tragedy. Now, Lanis, had no previous issues with law enforcement, no known mental health issues, although you could argue, and in fact, his daughter seems to be arguing that he did at some point, or at least develop some sort of mental issue, or more like maybe an emotional issue, something. And she noted that it happened ever since Trump had lost the election. She said that Lanis had completely immersed himself in QAnon conspiracy theories. Rebecca, the other daughter, had blamed her father's worsening mental condition on extremism and conspiracy theories he had encountered online about vaccines and Trump. And of course, another bevy of conspiracy theories, like involving, 5G towers and things like that. She told the Daily Beast that, quote, nobody could talk him out of them. Nobody. So he believed in these conspiracy theories. And then, of course, the night of the homicide, apparently there was some sort of argument, altercation. I don't know about whatever details. And he responded by grabbing a gun and trying to murder his entire family, at least those who were actually there. Now, she mentioned, Rebecca did, how all these different conspiracy theories online, QAnon, had changed him from a loving, father, a fun, carefree person to somebody who would get very angry, triggered over the smallest things, and would warn of imagined dangers posed by modern medicine and 5G towers. It's the 5G. It's getting in your brain. It's the deep state using the 5G towers, to turn you into sheep. That's what it is. Yep, that's what's going on here. Okay, and maybe it's even turning the frogs gay. I don't know.
I don't like them putting chemicals in the water that turn the friggin' frogs gay.
I mean, it could be a listener of Alex Jones. We know that Trump, of course, likes Alex Jones. And Alex Jones, of course, was for a long time a big Trump supporter, still does support Trump. And so, yeah, those conspiracies do go hand in hand. And so now she said that living with him after his QAnon, right, awakening, so to speak, well, it's like he got possessed by a demon.
It's the devil, okay?
But seriously, that's almost what it's like. A huge, huge change in personality. Somebody going from, someone who's happy and carefree to then, I mean, literally thinking of your family as the enemy. And that's what happened. So much of, as the enemy that you were willing to murder them. It's absolutely horrifying. So now, QAnon, if you're not familiar somehow of what QAnon believes in, just, and by the way, it has changed over the years, shifting goalposts, etc. But essentially, it's the belief that the government is run by a group of satanic pedophiles that are high-ranking Democrats for some reason, even though what we've seen is actually a lot of Republicans that have gotten in trouble or are being investigated right now for literally being pedophiles. Matt Gaetz is one example. And that Donald Trump and JFK Jr., who is dead, have teamed up to bring a storm that will allegedly sweep out these bad people, the pedophiles, and the law enforcement will all arrest them, etc., and restore America, the Great Restoration, right? And or the Great Reawakening. And after, of course, that is America is restored, well, the benefit for Trump is that Trump would be restored to the presidency. I mean, the whole theory is cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. It's complete and utter insanity. I mean, there's nothing real about this. I mean, part of what they believe is that, that not only are the Democrats pedophiles, they're having a child sex trafficking ring, but also that they're drinking the blood of children to stay youthful, right? People like Nancy Pelosi are drinking the blood of children to gain eternal life or something like that. Have you seen Nancy Pelosi lately? She's not exactly a picture of youthfulness. She's not a spring chicken. Okay. No, she's like the rest of the government, extremely elderly. They're all very old. And look, you can look at the Democratic Party, and I think this is a fair criticism. A lot of the Democrats, especially Democratic leadership, is ancient. They're incredibly old. Whereas, of course, the Republican Party, they have a lot of younger members. Now, they're all insane, but, they're younger, at least, I guess. But now, of course, if this were just a few, people saying extremely nutty things online, okay, that's going to happen. Insane people exist, whatever. But no, this is a much bigger movement than that. There are millions of people who are QAnon adherents. They believe in this nonsense, and some of them have done violence. Let me go back to the Comet Pizza shooting, right? Where there's a guy who grabbed his gun, went to a pizza shop called Comet Pizza, and apparently, QAnoners, conspiracy theorists were like, oh yeah, the Comet Pizza, they're keeping the children in the basement that they're sex trafficking out. That's what they're doing. They're okay. We got the children in the basement. Somebody needs to go rescue them. And so this guy gets a gun and he goes to rescue the children from the basement that didn't actually exist. He goes in there and he starts taking shots at people with a gun. Thankfully, nobody was hurt. Nobody was killed. But what did he find out? There were no children that were in need of rescue. There was no basement. It was just a nonsense conspiracy theory. Now, that's one example where thankfully nobody was hurt, but there are plenty of examples of people that did get hurt in some of these, QAnon motivated attacks. Look, for example, last year, a California man who became obsessed with QAnon had confessed to killing his 2-year-old son and 10-month-old daughter with a spearfishing gun. He came to believe, and this is what he told the FBI, he came to believe, thanks to QAnon, that his wife had possessed serpent DNA. Like we're talking lizard people, okay?
It's not human intelligence!
Lizard people. And that he was had to murder his children, his family, because his wife had gave them the serpent DNA. I mean, this is, again, it would be funny if it didn't actually cost human lives. These children are dead. His children are dead. You're not going to bring them back? They're not coming back? No, they're dead. They're forever gone. And you did that. You killed them. You monster. QAnon. There was also a case of a man ramming his pickup truck filled with guns through the gates of Prime Minister of Canada, Justin Trudeau's home. And then, of course, you also had one of the biggest examples that gets cited a lot, January 6th, the assault on the Capitol, in which many QAnon supporters believed was the storm. And now, after all of that context, now you have the former president of the United States, one of the most powerful men in the world, saying, oh, yeah, no, these are my, hey, I'm one of you. You're my guys. Oh, yeah, you got me. I believe it. I'm with you. Again, before this, when he was president, he would consistently praise followers of the movement, and afterwards had even endorsed a Republican candidate for Congress who was a prominent QAnon supporter, and has even defended the movement, saying, oh, no, it's just filled with people that are, basically believe in good government. Wow. So, but again, it's even worse because Trump recently posted his photo with the phrase, the storm is coming, just days after the death of Queen Elizabeth II, and has led some QAnon supporters to believe, oh, this is it. It is a storm. The storm is coming. Now, law enforcement is pretty concerned with this. It's like, oh, this could lead to violence. Uh-oh. And if they're concerned because this kind of stuff happens to galvanize supporters and the movement, and again, could lead to actual violence. There are people out there that are dangerous and delusional and are not only actively harming themselves, but they're harming their own families. In the case of the Landis family, you have two people that are dead. And for what? These two girls, they do not have parents anymore. And by the way, Rachel Landis, the one who was shot and is recovering, well, now she not only has the mental scars, but also the physical scars. And also because of our barbaric healthcare system, she's going to have to, pay for getting shot at by her father, who was, propagandized, brainwashed by QAnon. So, I mean, it's just horrible, no matter what, in just many, many different ways. Just absolutely horrible. Now, I asked, what is this for? It was for nothing. It was for something that just people made up on the internet. And that's all it is. What an absolute waste. A waste of life. And you want to call yourselves pro-life? You believe in this stuff? Children? Look at all the children that have died as a result of this. The families that have been torn apart by this. Nonsense conspiracy theory. And what, for nothing? You haven't saved any children. And you've put them in harm's way. You've ripped entire families apart. And I know the people, there are people out there who came up with this. And I don't know if they really believe it. Maybe they do. But if they don't, how can they sit there and just watch the carnage that has unfolded as a result of the bullshit lies they have made up. How can you live with yourself? You're disgusting. And look, what's worse is nobody who believes in QAnon that is watching this video right now, and I'm sure some of you are, hate watching, is that you're probably just gonna, fake news, or even worse, say, oh no, this entire thing is false flag. It was the government trying to, disqualify or whatever QAnon, make them look bad. It's disinformation, and that's all they're gonna do. But here's the fact: Rebecca is a real victim. Her family is a real victim, and just one of many who have been victimized by this delusional conspiracy theory. She has lost so much, and here's what she said. I'll let her have the final word. Right-wing extremism is not funny. People need to watch their relatives, and if they have guns, they need to hide them or report them or something, because this is out of control.